As part of Kareem Neal's project celebrating Black history and honoring Black individuals who have excelled in their chosen field, this week we are honoring teachers, and I apologize for being late. There are so many Black teachers that I could have chosen, people who've made a difference in my life, but I have to choose Lucious Zachary, teacher, also my Uncle Lou. I'm going to share some quotes that were given by former students, by former colleagues, by former people who knew Uncle Lou through his life in music, and then add some of my own on behalf of his family. The hallmark of one's life is measured in the action of how one lives, in truth and in spirit. You now have done both. You will be forever missed, but never forgotten, and loved in death as you were in life. This quote is from a former sixth grade student of my Uncle Lou's, Lucious Zachary. Mr. Zachary, as he would insist upon being called, unless you were a member of his family, was a teacher at Asbury Park Middle School for 23 years before retiring. He was a graduate of Asbury Park High School, where he excelled in academics and track, and of Monmouth College, where he graduated with honors. In order to put himself through college and earn his teaching credential, he worked at a store in Asbury Park called Dainty Apparel and at the Barbizon Modeling School in Red Bank, New Jersey. He was a professional opera singer as well. From a former colleague at the Asbury Park Middle School, I worked with Mr. Zachary for many years in the Asbury Park School District. I always called him Mr. Zach because of the respect that I had for him and his sincere efforts to help his students. He was a hard worker with dignity and with class. As a professional opera singer, Uncle Lou was born a little bit too soon. He performed, helped to found the Metro Lyric Opera Company, where he performed as a principal bass singer and was also the director of costuming and staging for many years. I had the wonderful privilege of accompanying Lucious at the Metro Lyric Opera. It was always a special and joyful time to work with him, as he was always easy to work with and a real gentleman. This is one of his colleagues from the Metro Lyric Opera. He also sang at Trinity Episcopal Church in Asbury Park, at St. James Church in Bradley Beach. He was also a singer at one of the temples in Asbury Park for many, many years. He was a Boy Scout troop leader, a volunteer at Monmouth Daycare, a Fresh Air Fund host, and he opened his heart and his home to many. He had an incredible sense of humor, and that sense of humor played out not only on the stage, but in his classroom. He set high standards not only for himself, but for his students and for everyone whose life he touched. In one of the commemorations of his life after he passed, one fellow member of the Asbury Park community called him Asbury Park royalty. His talent was a gift to Asbury Park and to the Asbury Park, New Jersey community. From a former student, What can I say about Mr. Lucious Zachary? First off, is it does not surprise me that he requested to have no services. That's Mr. Zachary for you. He will have the final say. He was my sixth grade teacher and left an impact on my life. I think I was responsible for some of the grays on his hair. I gave him a run for his money, but he never gave up on me. I will forever be grateful to him. Some teachers leave an impact on our life, and he was one for me. He nicknamed me Rona Barrett as a kid. I was a talker. Mr. Zachary, thank you for being a teacher that cared. You will be truly missed. Uncle Lou was the patriarch of our family. He was also our teacher. He taught us so many things. I'm sharing just a few pictures here. One is a picture of Uncle Lou holding my son Joshua days after Josh was born, feeding him a bottle. When Josh was christened, he wore Uncle Lou's christening gown. In the middle is a picture of Uncle Lou with the rest of our family on Christmas Day. This is one of the last years that we had my mother with us. And on the far right is a picture of Uncle Lou with my father and my son Josh. Uncle Lou taught us so many things. He was our family teacher. This was a man who was a member of Mensa, who did the New York Times crossword puzzle every Sunday or Saturday when it arrived in ink. He would do us the courtesy of asking us for help with the puzzle, but he didn't need our help. Uncle Lou spoke 5 languages: English, Spanish, German, French, and Italian. When Joshua would visit with his fiancée Cinzia, who is from Italy, he would speak with Cinzia in Italian, giving her the gift of being able to speak in her own language. I mentioned earlier that he was born too soon. He was never able to serve the Metropolitan Opera as a principal bassist, but he performed with the Met as a bass. He also performed on stage at Carnegie Hall. And one day when he had Joshua in New York City to take him to show him parts of the city that were important to Uncle Lou, they met Maestro Antonin Coppola coming down the sidewalk in the other direction and stopped to talk as Uncle Lou performed under the direction of Maestro Coppola on many occasions. Uncle Lou was a gift, as so many of his students mentioned. He was a gift to our family. He was a man who taught us so much about life. When I was named New Jersey State Teacher of the Year, Uncle Lou, who loved clothes and took all of us at numerous times in our life shopping for special occasions, helped me choose my suit that I would wear on the day that I was recognized by the State Board of Education as New Jersey's Teacher of the Year. I was going to choose a traditional black suit. Uncle Lou said, no, you're a teacher, you're a woman, you are powerful. We'll find a red suit. And I was honored that day with Uncle Lou by my side in a red suit that he chose. And all that I could think of that day was that they chose the wrong teacher. I should have chosen him. I apologize for being emotional. Lucious Zachary lived a life of dignity. He lived a life of learning. He was the consummate teacher. And Kareem, I thank you for this opportunity to honor him.